Okay, so today on Games Rapture, let's talk. We're going to talk about DLC in general. Day 1 DLC, DLC on disc. We're going to talk about standalone packages and arcade and PSN titles. So we'll start with Day 1 DLC, which seems to be a really hot topic right now thanks to games like Mass Effect. And we'll start with Sam. He'll give his first opinion on it, and then we'll move on to everybody else's opinion to see what everybody thinks.
Okay, well, first off, I wouldn't ever download Day 1 DLC because I think it's just, if you're paying sort of £40 or $60, $70 for a game and then you have to pay on top of that on the first day you buy it, I just don't think that's worth it. But again, I think a lot of people are going to say that it's exploitative of the developers to bring it out on Day 1, and it probably is, but at the end of the day, that's what, if there's demand for the developers to produce that content, then they're going to do that. If people are going to buy DLC on Day 1, then I can't see a good reason why the developers shouldn't put it out. We can say that it's exploitative, etc., but if the developers are going to put it out and people are going to buy it and people want to buy it, then I don't see a huge problem with it. I think if people didn't buy it, then that would show the developers that perhaps sort of people are onto them and people realise that what exactly they're trying to do is just trying to make more money on the first day of release. But as long as there's that demand for DLC, for the game like Mass Effect's obviously got a huge following and a lot of people are going to buy it on the first day. So, like I said, I would never buy it, and I think it's a bit like if you're buying the game to experience the game, you might as well experience the game first. I don't see really the point of buying another piece of DLC on the first day when you haven't even got through the story yet. But again, if people are going to buy it, then it's really a consumer problem.
Yeah, well, you can't expect not to make it, you know.
Yeah, exactly. With everything in the gaming industry, if there's demand for it, then developers are gonna buy it, and we can complain. Again, it is exploitative. I'll say that, but I guess all DLC is, they're just putting content out there that they know people are going to buy, and it's rehashed and it's sort of the same, they're using the same engine, the same mechanics and everything, but there's demand there, so why not put it out there?
At the end of the day, it's about making money, and if there's anything they can do to make more money, we can't expect them not to. You know, that's their goal, really.
Exactly, yeah. Did you have anything to say about it, Dennis?
Well, in terms of like Day 1 DLC, I find what annoys me about it is it means the developers spent time developing something they're going to then withhold from the main game. And when games get delayed so often, it's like it makes it seem like everyone's really pressed for time in bringing the stuff out. But if they have time to work on stuff that's optional, they're obviously not that pressed for it. And what annoys me is they could have put that time into making the core game better. And it's just, I hate the idea of it. I think there's more important things than already looking at DLC when the thing isn't even out yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to say that. I wasn't trying to say like that it was a good thing or anything. Like it really annoys me that they can get away with it. Yeah, but that's the thing. They can get away with it. It is annoying, and you do wish that they'd either put more content into the game or spend more time developing the game, like you said. But it's not ideal, and it's not something you want to see. But obviously, people are going to buy it, otherwise they aren't going to make it. And I guess unless everyone
bought it, they wouldn't. Yeah.
And unless everyone gets together. Yeah, unless everyone gets together and says, let's boycott this DLC, let's show them that, this isn't something that they should be doing in the future, then it's going to sell and it's going to keep happening, I guess.
Yeah, I definitely agree on the part side that I don't like the idea of Day 1 DLC, but at the same time, I see it in a lot of situations, especially, from what I hear of Mass Effect, is that this would happen to any game. A lot of games finish development time about 2-3 months before they ship the game, because really those last 3 months are pressing the copies, doing all the little bugs, but the actual core game is pretty much done. From what I remember, Killzone, I got my review copy like December, 3 months before the actual release date. So stuff like that, it comes out much later than the actual when they finish it. So with DLC, I feel like the idea of putting out the first day is stupid because it's going to make people upset that they're buying a game and now they got to spend $10, $15 more to get something extra. But I don't think that they're really putting it out so quick that people, like, content is taken from games all the time. If you read Final Fantasy XIII's reports, a lot of content was ripped from the game just simply because of time constraint or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing really with a game like Mass Effect or any. There's going to be content that they just take out, just like movies, directors cut. Same thing here. They have to take out content that they don't feel fits into the game. So I feel that DLC sometimes is that content that was taken from the game that they didn't complete in time, but they can finish those 2 months before the game is actually released, or just a way to make money back, because a lot of times developers do not make money off of games that are rented, and something as big as GameFly, where they have like 5 million members or whatever now, you have to remember how much money they just lost for people just renting the game. Not that people want to not give them money, but, you know, not everybody can afford a $60 game. So that DLC, every time someone buys it, is giving them, that's pure profit, basically. Microsoft's making like $1 off of it. So, or PlayStation. So, in a way, I don't like DLC. I don't like it's on the first day. But, like Sam said and like Dennis said, it is a consumer's problem. The best thing you can do is not fucking buy it. If you are going to complain and then you're going to complain does nothing. Just don't buy it. You're already helping your cause by not buying it. If you're going to complain about it but then buy a DLC for a different game, then you just look like a fool.
Yeah.
I don't really complain too much. I bought the Mass Effect DLC. Do I feel bad? No. I really like the Prothean character. He's one of my favorite. Would I buy a DLC for something else, the game that I'm not loving? No. But for Mass Effect, I loved it. I love the lore. It's like buying a fucking action figure or a poster for a thing. It's extra. You don't need it, but it made it that much more enjoyable. But that leads me right on to the next topic we're going to go is DLC on a disc. It's not even fucking DLC. It's content locked on a disc. Yeah, it's just C. It's just content. It's content locked. So CL. It's CL. We just made that up. We copyright that. CL is basic. Yeah, right? That's pretty good. We should use that. CL is bullshit. Why? Because the developers finished the game 3 months in advance, had that shit done, and on a disc. Which means that it's just content being held from you. But it's on the disc. So if you have, mostly PC, have a way to break through that, you can get all those characters, or you can get all that content that's locked. Because it's on the fucking disc. That is cheap. That is mostly Capcom doing that shit. I absolutely am boycotting the shit out of Capcom. You see what I do? I don't complain about them destroying Mega Man. I don't complain about them putting out every fucking fighter every 3 months. What I do is I don't buy their shit. I love Resident Evil Revelations. I didn't buy it. That was GameFly. So there it is. You don't buy it, you're not supporting them. You're not giving your money. But you can still like the games. Resident Evil Revelations, great game. Not giving my money because of that DLC on this bullshit. Do you guys have any opinion on DLC on this?
I think
Yeah, well,
it's
I guess.
pretty
Yeah, go on,
unanimous. I think it's going to be pretty unanimous that it's a bad thing if they've finished it
Yes.
and it's ready and then they just don't want to give it to you. And especially if some people can access it by like hacking into going through the files of the game and some people can't, that's a big problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's the same sort of issue as Day One DLC, in that you can access it from the start, but and
Just
again,
slightly more cruel.
Yeah, I guess it just feels more frustrating because it's already there. I don't think it's any different in that you could access the same content as you can on Day One DLC, but the fact that it's there on the disc and it's in front of you and it's so close to it and it's just on the disc, it just feels more frustrating, even though it's kind of the same issue, I guess. And again, I think if people weren't gonna get the DLC from the disc, then they wouldn't put it on. I think again, it is exploitative, but they're exploiting people who wanna get that DLC. So I guess it just feels a lot more frustrating, and I wish a lot more people would stop buying the discs, stop buying sort of these kind of games, because that's the only way you can. At the end of the day, it's a business, the gaming industry, and if you're gonna keep on supporting companies who do stuff like this, then it's going to keep happening. So it's up to the consumer really to as you say, to boycott companies like Capcom who want to constantly do this, and to send them a message, because that's the only way it's going to get across. If people keep on buying it, then we're going to see this thing cropping up over and over again.
Yep. Did you have anything to say on that, Dennis, before we move on to standalone?
Well, no, I think it's pretty much the same issue. If the problem is, like, if you want to get day one DLC, you can buy the game and then just not buy it. But the fact is that if it's on disc, you already technically have it, and like
Yeah.
the data's all there. It's just like it's sort of like a slightly lazier version of day one
Yeah.
DLC.
Yeah.
It's like holding the content hostage. It's bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. Was Mass
So-
Effect? Did Mass Effect have that? I remember seeing a video about.
There was a video, but EA released
ROM.
a comment that they said that it was down. When I downloaded my Protein character, that was like 60 megabyte or whatever the hell it was. It was a download. When I saw my friend download the characters for Street Fighter, it was like 4 seconds.
Well,
So
that's pretty clear.
Yeah,
It's just like the one line of code, like.
yeah, I'm pretty sure the idea that like the dialogue in the game might have been there and they had to take that out, but the actual character model in the situations, I'm pretty sure had to download from Mass Effect.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now the next thing, let's get on to a happy topic, standalone DLC. Now this is like something like Red Dead Undead Nightmare or the infamous Festival of Blood or whatever, Blood of Festival, and what was the new game that just came out? Alan Wake. These are perfect examples, and this is I fully love this idea for 4 very big reasons. One, I love the idea of not having to have the full disc game. You don't have to have Infamous 2. You don't have to have Killzone 3 to play the new multiplayer standalone. And the same thing with Alan Wake. They're their own games. I also feel this is like a kind of a way to help developers out, and you're giving them your pure money. All that money that you're giving into, they're getting. Microsoft, PlayStation publishers, they're not really getting much. It's all really the developer that's getting your money. I love that we can play these titles. They're basically titles that are already out. You can play even more of them. Alan Wake gave a whole new story. Same thing with Infamous. So that I really love. And usually they're almost console quality level. I mean, Infamous was Infamous 2. It was the game. And Killzone 3, the multiplayer, is Killzone 3's multiplayer. Same thing with Alan Wake. The graphics are just as good. So I do love that. So those are 4 major reasons why I absolutely love standalone DLC, and I hope that developers, keep putting that out, because that's an excellent idea in my opinion. Did you guys have anything to say about standalone?
Yeah, go on,
I
Dave.
think it sort of depends on the degree of separation. Like, some might argue that they could have just left the Killzone 3 multiplayer in with Killzone 3, and then like just because they delayed the release of it by a couple of months, like if they'd released that on day 1, that would have been a huge outrage. So some people might think that, but for stuff like Red Dead, which is like a huge departure from the normal game,
Yep.
I think that's great, because some people don't like some people wanted to take Red Dead more seriously and be like, okay, it's just a Western, that's fine.
Yeah.
People are like, screw that shit, zombies, great.
Exactly.
And for people who want that, that's great, but for people who don't, it's a nice way of, not tainting either people's experience just by fusing the two of them.
Exactly.
Yeah, because it's not. I think it's good it gives the choice to people who have played the original game, and the fact that you've got something so different, it means that, because a lot of I know like the Mass Effect 2 DLC when it came out, and it's just sort of adding on like sort of scenarios and stories, and sort of a lot of people bought that just because they thought it was more of the same. But if you're adding something a bit different, like especially the Red Dead DLC, and that's something, as you said, is completely different, and it gives you the choice of, so you can read, because the DLC often has like separate reviews, and you can go online, you can read all the reviews of this DLC, and you can see whether it's your thing. And again, if it's a bit closer to the original game, then it's just sort of more of the same, and that's for a lot of people, that's what you want. And so with the Alan Wake DLC, a lot of people are waiting for Alan Wake 2, and this is sort of, I guess, gives them a bit of a taster for what's going to come, and also sort of if they enjoyed the first one, they know that they're going to go out and enjoy this one. So giving it a cheaper price, it just means that it's something that they know they're going to enjoy, basically. And I think if you're creating that separation, as Dennis said, then as long as it's not sort of just the original reskinned, then I think it's always a good thing.
Yeah, as long as it's not Call of Duty. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so